Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. And welcome back to the show. Michel Polyakov, better known as Michael Kell. He's an author. He's from Atlanta, Georgia, but really not just from there. He's been all over. Born, living in, Saudi Arabia, then to Puerto Rico. He's world traveled, obviously, and we always have a good conversation. Yesterday, we just got to speak, and we just had a show before the show talking about some upcoming things we're going to talk about. So for those who don't really know who he is, my goodness, he's a powerhouse. He's a writer. Today, we're talking about poetry, but first, to give everyone a little bit of your background, would you mind sharing just a little bit about yourself?
Well, let's see. I would say I'm not the best speaker.
Not true. I know he's an angel. He's an angel.
But I think I present with emotion and fortitude, which I think there's no story about that, about two speakers in Persia. And one speaker was like highly educated, spoke perfectly, his Arabic was perfect, and they really knew a lot. And his brother Monk was just he was educated, but just a regular guy, stuttered sometimes, made mistakes speaking, but he spoke with passion, and directly to the people. And no one would remember what the good guy spoke about, but they'd all remember what the regular speaker spoke about because he was actually in his speech. So hopefully I could be that. Maybe
absolutely, we can. Absolutely. So also you're the founder of the Institute for Conscious Evolution and Human Development and Teaching Tales Publishing, well-known author. Of course, the God's Greatest Miracle is, would you say that's your most popular book, A Tale of Two Little Angels?
Well, actually, since my marketing is so bad, it's hard to use the word popularity, but let me get up there because it's...
But Barnes & Noble, Amazon.
Yeah, there it is on share. I can do share screen here.
Perfect. Yeah, go ahead. You should have access to. Yep.
It work?
Yeah, there we are. There we go. And the website. I know you have another one. I don't know which one you want me to mention off the top.
Well, actually, this website is actually owned by the Institute for Conscious Evolution and Human Development, which is the email I give you is actually to that site. But they haven't figured out how to make me so I can read my emails on this one yet. So I had to transfer to GoDaddy to get it fixed. So the helping me.
Well, for those listening, let's just tell them it's World of JMPOL. Yep, POLYAKOV.com. Thank you.
And the little book, I can see the little book, right?
Yep, I see it. God's Greatest Miracle.
You go on there, you can read, I think, the first chapter. But even though Amazon doesn't seem to be pushing it very much, people with educated people with hearts think this is an astoundingly simple-minded, in a sense, single-minded, I say, as Christ said, single-minded book. It's all about unconditional love. Yep. So powerful that one of the major reviewers at Reader's Favorite said, it's the best Christian love story I ever read. And it's about two little angels growing up on earth and what they do for their earth. So I'd love people to buy the book, not because I need the money, but because I think it changes lives. And so if I can find a good marketing person I could afford, maybe I could change that. But
and now knowing you a little better, do you happen to be one of those little angels?
Yeah. But my name in the book is called Tristan. And the little girl angel is named Morgana, other than not Morgan, but actually I'm thinking of Morgan Le Fay. And in fact, those two characters are major characters, in a different world for a book called Purpose Journeys. And also show up in the spiritual teachings of Gabriel Valiet, which are very adventurous, erotic, love-filled books full of physics, believe it or not, and deep metaphysics.
Yeah,
and it's funny too, because I have some really funny characters. So when I get some money to get those out, find a better way to do it, then I hope everybody will be pleased with what I write and get something out of it that means something in their life. I don't write for escape. I write for meaning, but it is but you can't escape in it because the worlds are so nice. Beats our world by a lot most times.
Beautiful. Well, what did you have in store for us today? I know you were going to go over some of your poetry besides this book. You've written a lot of books and poems, and you're an author. You have a lot of stuff that's unpublished. What did you want to share with us today?
Actually, what I wanted to do, since I live for romance. Don't take it on the bad side. I'm a pretty loyal guy. Live for romance, and because if you can't have love in your life, and I don't even mean just romantic love, but if you don't feel love that's in the universe there for the taking in your life is not a good one. It's not a happy one. And some people die like mangy dogs in the streets of Cairo, as Gurdjieff used to say, because they didn't take time to develop themselves. But today I wanted to start with the oldest love poem that they found to date. Yeah. And it's translated. It's back to like 2000 BC in Akkadian culture, which is like Sumeria and pre-Babylon. And it's called A Love Song of Shu Sin. And it's about a woman who's probably marrying this king. He's a real king, and in those days. And so she wrote him a love song. And this is where people think that actually the Song of Songs in the Bible came from. Just changed a little bit because it predates the Bible by a couple thousand years, by 1,000 years or so. But it's what's called a free translation. And I think ancient poetry and ancient stories are best not read literally. Because they write differently. They leave out, they don't always have the same articles we do. And so for somebody to read it and understand it and rewrite it is the best way to get the flavor of the things. And I know this from some old girlfriends I had, and I didn't speak Ukrainian or Russian, but I was a translator. But what they would do is I would ask them to write a poem, in Russian or Ukrainian, and it says give the translator, put it in English, which I know is very literal. Okay. And so what I found is that you can't translate a poem literally. You have to read the poem and think in the language you're translating it into, and the culture you're translating into, and rewrite it. So it actually says what the author thinks it says. And I knew it can't be that hard because the translations weren't very good. But I knew that, people were talking to him all the time and visiting him. So that's what I've learned. So this is a free translation by a Sumerian scholar named Michel Birch. This is the lady singing to the king before their marriage. Darling of my heart, my beloved, your enticements are sweet, far sweeter than honey. Darling of my heart, my beloved, your enticements are sweet, far sweeter than honey. Sweetheart, let me do the sweetest things for you. This crevice, your caress, is far sweeter than honey. In the bedchamber, dripping love's honey, let us enjoy the sweetest thing. Sweetheart, let me do the sweetest things for you. This crevice your caress is far sweeter than honey. You have captivated me. I stand trembling before you. Darling, lead me swiftly to the bedchamber. You have captivated me. I stand trembling before you. Darling, lead me swiftly into the bedchamber. Bridegroom, you shall have your pleasures with me. Speak to my mother, and she will reward you. Speak to my father, and he will give you gifts. I know how to give your body pleasures. Then sleep easily, my darling, till the sun dawns. To prove that you love me, give me your caresses. My God, Lord God, my guardian angel and protector, my Shushin, who gladdens Enlil's heart. Give me your caresses. My place like sticky honey. Touch it with your hand. Place your hand over it like a honey pot lid. Cup your hand over it like a honey cup. Yeah. And so things haven't changed much in the last 4,000 years. But I think what I found is it's hard to write love poetry without some eroticism to it, because a real love should not only be a love of the heart, but the love of the spirit, the love of the mind, and the love of the body. Because making love with people with the right mind, with practice, the first time's not always the best, but and in love, it's the only place I know where you can lose your full boundaries other than deep meditation, full boundaries of the body, where you don't know where your body is or her body is. And you really are just one nameless one, which is a wonderful, soft, nice feeling, I think. So moving ahead in time, I want to read some poetry that this is just written over like 20 years, different times, different places, different people I knew. But this, when I was thinking about the Arabian Nights, 1001 Nights, so I wrote a poem, which had nothing to do with the Arabian Nights, but it's sort of the same motif. And so it goes like this. 1,000 nights lay I on coverlets of Chinese silk and gold, laid over multi-hued woolen carpets woven on the looms of Persia's past. Colored geopatterns and oasis spreading over cold silica, Arabian desert sands, all enclosed within a caliph's tent. All this land was mine, east as far as the Indus River Valley, west into the Mediterranean Sea, south to Arabia and North Africa, north to the Hyborian tundra. No army could withstand my advance, not Greek, not Persian, not Hindi, given that the Olympians stood back, for the son of Marduk was invincible. At last I rested for 1,000 nights, having sent the daughters of once upon kings peace offerings and treaty inducements for radiant maidens from all my land. Under an umbrella of stars twinkling, within a vast sea of onyx blackness, I ravished one maiden after another, Arabian beauties with jet black hair and deep well eyes, fair-haired Valkyries burning for the thrust, Oriental princesses, moist furrows longing for the plow. Endless pleasures had I in them, but each I sent away at morning's orange dawn, for none had been the one. On the night of 1 in 1,000, the air was unusually crisp, one breath generating swirling clouds. The desert wind had nothing to share this night. So silent, one could almost hear the moonbeam striking the silica sand. I was lost in random thoughts and heard not her grand entrance, but before me stood a maiden wrapped all around in Shirley fur. I asked who she was. She replied, I am from the land where the Dnieper River flows. My first thought was, is she an angel come to tempt my soul? Or perhaps she was death, showing me that my fame was for naught. With pursed lips she spoke, as if she could read my mind, words flowing like honey through the lips stained with red rose blush. I am only a physician's daughter, though for you I am your medicine. Her hair, red gold yarn, framing her high-cheeked face, gleaming in the flickering lantern light, forged by dwarfs deep within some mythical mountains. Her eyes, lime green irises, like those the cat goddess basked, calling onto my secret name, sweet words pulled me as the lodestone draws iron. Without a word or sound, the cat goddess let her fur slip to the floor, standing naked before me, my eyes, her virgin loin and alluring posture, nipples firm from lust, not heat, cold. Alabaster skins, untainted by imperfections, ripe for remodeling with the potter's hands. I asked her name, and she replied, I am yours, my love to be, called by your heart's deepest yearnings. I am your Calliope. Moving greatly as the cat she was, she came to me, sparkling moonlight moving on the surface of still water. She knelt in front of me, smiling, her face radiant with love's pureness. She leaned back forward, her lips near my ear, for her exhalations warm and moist. She whispered, her words compelling, take me, my lord, I am yours, as you are eternally mine. Bringing her lips to mine, her heart spoke to my heart, that I knew she was the one, for I loved her, for I remembered her. When the orange desert dawn came once again, Calliope kept me, for she had conquered, I who had conquered the world. That's the end.
Amazing. And how does this all come to you? It just flows. I mean,
I can read better, I know, but
no, but the thought process behind this as a writer, when does this stuff come to you? How do you, explain your process?
Well, I can only write, I wrote one poem on commission, not for pay, but for a friend of mine who's getting married, actually a friend's friend, which I had translated into Ukrainian for her marriage, which is a real trip. And, but no, I'm in love with someone and I sit down and I just feel like I have to write a poem. And so something about that woman that has me write a poem. And what I think it really is that these poems already exist somewhere out there. And they can't talk to the world unless they find a poet who will write them onto a piece of paper so it can be read. So I can't take credit for anything I write. I never had, never will. It just happens. It's a gift. I don't know if it's an angelic gift or not, but it is a gift. So I should practice reading, probably.
Wow.
A lot about people from Ukraine, actually. I love Ukraine. I probably spent a year there off and on. Their culture. Government is really corrupt. It's still pretty corrupt, even with the war going on, but they're a lot better than the Russians. Government, that is.
Let me ask you this. What brought you to Georgia? How did you end up in Atlanta?
Well, it's a weird story. when I was in when I graduated graduate school, I applied medical school.
Yeah.
I was 29. Well, I was like probably 27 then.
Mm-hmm.
But my problem was I already had patents and a well-established career in nephrology, not as a doctor, but as a researcher. And so that was the time when they were trying to take literary people into it, rather than science people, because they thought they would deal better with the patients, which never turned out to be true. Scientists were just as good that were good, and the ones that were bad, and the same there. And so I sent something to Emory a long time, about that same time. I had to find many schools I could that would take out-of-state residents, other than California, where I was. Mm-hmm. And so I didn't get in there, and I knew it was because my background was too good. They didn't trust that I would want to do this. And so I thought about doing it again a couple of years later when I was like 29. And all of a sudden, I got something from Emory, about Emory Medical School. Just came in the mail. I don't know why they sent it to me. It should have been on a list. And so I thought, they take 50% of the people from out of state. This is going to be bad. I thought, well, that should be pretty good for me, because I imagine if they take 50% people in state, in Georgia, it's probably not that competitive in some ways, which actually turned out to be somewhat true. And so I applied, and so I got in to go to medical school. Was at Emory, which turned out to be pretty good, actually, and had a good time there. Although, the funny part was everybody told me, you'd be a crappy doctor. You have a terrible bedside manner. I go, I don't think I have bad bedside manner. I'm not necessarily sympathetic, but not, And so when I go see patients, I just talk to them, see what they're going on with them, and tell them what I need to do, what they need to do, could consider doing and stuff. And, and the family would bring me like candy stuff because they're in the hospital for a while. Mm-hmm. I go, I said, I actually have a great bedside manner. I'm just like a normal person.
Yeah. That's
what they want. They feel normal in the hospital, not banished. So that's why I got to Georgia. Then when I was done with medical school and my PhD, I should have gone to Stanford and got back to California. But since nobody bothered me at Emory, the attendants were afraid of me because they'd ask me questions, and I asked them questions they didn't know the answer to too. So they stopped pimping me. And so I figured, everybody's so nice to me here. And I'm going to say this conned everybody, but it's not like I didn't do what I said I did, smoothed everybody. But I stayed there, which was a problem. Plus I got married then. And so I figured I'll stay here. So I've been here like 30 years. But it still was a mistake in some ways, but I can't change it because a lot of things happen. I have 2 sons, wrote books, got poetry, got divorced, which was a good thing for me, and met a lot of nice people in the world, old people and young people.
Yeah.
And so that's why I'm still here.
Aww.
But it's not the ideal place to live. I mean, if you're educated. Just because it's not anything bad about the South. It's just, it's just not a lot of universities. Like California has a ton of universities. Massachusetts has a ton of universities. New York has a ton of universities. Well, they don't have a ton of really good universities here. So it's kind of hard sometimes to find someone you can actually speak to about deep matters. Yeah. That's okay. I can't complain. No point.
I love it.
I'd like to read another poem if I could.
Sure.
This is a poem that I actually wrote with a Ukrainian lady I knew, Anna, who spoke English. It's called My Love, Anna and I. And she says something, I say something. She says the first line, I say the second line. So Anna says, I want you to surround me with tenderness, warmth, and caring. And I say, and I shall be as the warm summer sun, my love. I want to think about tomorrow with confidence. Yes, for tomorrow shall bring what must be. I want you always to be by my side. Wisteria vines shall hug you more close. No hysteria wine. Excuse me. No wisteria vines shall hug you more closely than I. I want to go to bed, get up, think about you, and remember your hugs. My essence shall linger upon you for eternity. I want to be sure that you need me everywhere and for all time. Without your love, I am not full. Without you by my side, I am empty. I want to look into your blue eyes and see my reflection shine. Yes, my wife, your reflection shall shine within an ocean of love. I want your sweet breath to warm my hands in winter. Come to bed, love, and I shall warm all of you. I want to see your smile, knowing it's solely for me. More than just my smile, love, for all of me exists only for you. And I want you to wake me in the morning, not that damn alarm clock. I shall awaken you with a tender kiss, and perhaps a morning surprise. I want you to be my sun. You are my moon, love, my guiding light. Just ignore that. Somebody's breathing down. I want you to heat your hands in the back pockets of my jeans, and I shall dream of taking them off of you. I want you to pay in kisses for the rent of my back pockets. 1,000 kisses could never be enough to show my desire for you. I want to belong to you and to know that I'm yours always and you are mine the same. Dear wife, I've been yours our first life in Kiev. Now, I wasn't married to her, but I used wife a lot in my poems because that's the epitome of a good love, which I think everybody knows. That's not new. And so for me, when I think of a lover as my wife to be, seriously, doesn't mean it happens, but if I put her, have me be her husband in principle spiritually, things work much better. I mean, not as to what happens, but in terms of how the relationship goes. So that's why I use that a lot.
Yeah.
There one's called the Quintessence Gospel of Lord Gabriel, which is actually a book about Jesus that I'm writing from the view of Gabriel, which is nowhere near done, but it's pretty interesting because I try to write like the Bible. Love, so like a packet of summer sunbeams, kissing the soul of the receiver, keeping it warm and protected. We can accept love or discard her. We cannot store her like gold coins in a treasure chest. Love is not a currency of the realm, but must come de novo, one to another. We do not sell or barter love. It is not a camel or a gay carpet. Instead, the loved one, if she chooses, may pray for her heart to become a burning fire fed by unconditional love streaming from the holy sun of the divine. Mm-hmm. Love radiating from two now connected hearts births into existence a true miracle, a divine miracle, a miracle manifest in a heart space for God to intervene in the pains of all mankind. Love is the only miracle.
Mm-hmm.
How's our time doing?
We're good. We got 5 minutes, 4 minutes.
Okay, this is one of my the last poem is actually how far I get. I might put two, but these poems are like when you're already in a relationship and you're married, and the importance of your wife. Mm-hmm. And it's actually written in Kiev, Ukraine, a long time ago. I don't want to think. But it's called My Dearest Love. My dearest of the dear, sweet wife, it is here we belong. The appointed time has returned this day for winter sun to bid a fond farewell to our snowy, shrouded city of grand hopes. Winter sun's last luminous kiss, a kiss tender, sweet, and lingering heavily upon the gold leaf cupolas of ancient cathedrals. Each sacred dome simmering warmly to the winter sun's love, as you, dearest wife of mine, racked my passionate kisses, generating fiery rose gold mandanic sparks radiating outward from your divine heart to nourish and bring life to my soul as God's love brings peace to our sorrowful world. My only love within your warrior's heart, without your ever-present smile, without the essential touch of your soft hand held in mine, without your trusting love, I would be only an other of Medusa's cold stone men. As winter sun sets below the horizon, darkening shadows stroll the near deserted stone streets of Kiev, like hungry ghosts devouring all remaining light, these children of sister night. November wind blows short, blistering kisses to the freshly fallen snow, conjuring up into the air, twisting enchanted ice crystal spirals, jeweled necklaces adorning the dark goddess of night. Moon Maiden rises dominant in the night sky, her silver light playing and laughing joyfully, with each unique snowflake blown into the air by her lover, November wind. I return from work, rubbing shoulders with dark, hungry ghosts, and speaking to you, to Moon Maiden and Winter Sun, about our eternal and sacred love, my most beloved of all that is beloved. I tell them how you replace my covers on damp, cold winter nights of our mutual joy when we make true love to each other. How I delivered from your womb our second daughter and placed her upon your breast to feed and bond. How we first met, finding our never-ending song of songs. How each evening we lay Sonia and little Arabella to bed, tucking covers securely around them both, telling ancient tales of great knights and beautiful ladies, kissing both as each drooped happily off to their dreams. This night, so frigid, a coldness seeking entrance to my bones. I am safe, for I wear the wool sweater knitted by my love as my armor. At last, I stand before the great walnut doors to our dear home, thinking of you, my dearest love, and our two wonderful girls. Opening the doors, I enter the hall, removing gloves, coat, sweater, and boots. Quietly, I walk to the kitchen, seeing you and Sonia cooking heavenly borscht for the man they both adore. Our youngest daughter plays with her dolls on the kitchen floor, giggling happily. Sonia turns, jumping into my arms and hugging my neck tightly. Papa, I missed you so much today. I kiss her on her forehead and place her down, telling her, I love you very much. I bend over to kiss little Arabella. A strange strand of hair has fallen across your forehead, and you have a bit of flour on your chin. I smile at the sight, greeting you, my darling, dearest enchantress. You are more beautiful than any goddess in any tale. I grasp you around your waist and pull your lips towards mine, kissing you in the private language known only to true lovers, tongues speaking deep feelings to each other. Sonia, wise beyond her 6 years, smiles with joy, for one day she too shall have her beloved. You playfully push me away, your heart happy and pleased. Laughing sweetly, you say, Oh, Mashenka, please sit down. Sonia and I have our dinner ready. My dearest and most beloved princess, how did I come by such a one as you? For me, it can only be you. So one can see that I do seek a kind of perfection of love, although I'm not so good at it. But
are any of us? We all have our strengths and our weaknesses for sure.
That's okay.
But beautiful work, really. Thank you so much for sharing this today. Would you remind us how we can reach out to you and so we can tell our listeners?
Well, if you go to Amazon, it's the easiest place, and they have ebook copy if you want. It's like $3.99. It's cheap, and they have paperback and hardback. But I would just love the people to go buy the book, and if it actually means something to them, it does something to them, and just give me a short review.
You got it.
Because if I get more reviews, I can actually sell more copies. And when I get this things fixed with the publisher, so I can actually sell them on my website, then I'll probably start looking at the bulk sales, churches and stuff.
Perfect.
Sunday schools, and maybe do it myself that way.
Aw, thank you so much. And again, to go to the website, which ones do you want to share? Because you got World of JMPOLYAKOV.com. Again, that's the World of Jean-Michel Polyakov. But there's another site you mentioned. Did you want to share that?
But the other one is, if you go to, it's actually an easy one, enlightenment123.org.
Perfect.
And you can sign up there too. But if you want to just email me, it's just email at enlightenment123.org.
Great. Thank you so much. All right. Looking forward to the next time we speak. Thank you so much. And I hope you have a fantastic day.
If my name is tomorrow, which I know it can't be, but we'll see what happens.
All right. Thank you. Maybe we'll do a triple header. Is that what they call it? Have a great day.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.